Oh, hello there, my love. I didn't see you there skulking in the corner, peeping at me in my little hovel. But here we are. We're back here for a book haul. A relatively small one, 10 books. Half of them are Mars-related, or part of the Edgar Rice Burroughs series. We'll get to that in a moment. It's not Wednesday, so I haven't got the bells going in the background, unfortunately, but we've got the satanic candle, the satanic mushrooms, and we've got a nice wheat beer, or Weissbier. Just a cheap one from Lidl. I've had this before. It's quite nice. I don't think I've encountered a beer yet that I didn't like. Oh, absolutely lovely. I do prefer wheat beers. There we are. Okay, so as the thumbnail will likely suggest, we are looking at the Edgar Rice Burroughs series here, the Martian series. This is the only book that I currently have of the series. I got it last year sometime. And I got number 11, which happens to be the very last of the series, John Carter of Mars. It was made into a film, wasn't it? 10 years ago, 15 years ago, something like that. Never saw it, never will see it. Unless it's worth seeing. Let me know if you've seen it, my loves. This was quite a lovely cover. I just bought this purely on the strength of the cover and those little golden caps covering that poor woman's nipples. But on the strength of that cover, I decided to then start collecting them, beginning at the very end and then just getting random ones. So I've got three or four? I've got 4 to show you, I think. Or maybe, I can't remember. I think I've got 4. Anyway, this is the first one, no particular order. So this is number 9. Okay, we're going backwards here from 11. Again, quite an interesting cover. Not as well executed, shall we say, as the previous one. It's slightly rougher in style. It's almost like a study for a painting rather than a finished painting. But I quite like it. New English Library, of course. I'm going for all of those editions. The spine has some bend to it. Look at that. And of course we've got a couple of previews of some other ones. That's part of the Wizard, the Venus series, of which I completed. I mean, there were 5 books of that. Princess of Mars, I haven't got that one. Number 3, apparently. I'm not going to read the blurbs on these, but we'll have a little look through it. I haven't been through these yet. £1. Okay, so someone bought this at a car boot or a used book shop, and then I paid through the nose online for it. That's the way it goes, my loves. We can't do anything about that. Anyway, cast your eyes over that wonderful cover, and I'll have a little sniff. The first sniff in about a month, so pray for me. I can already smell a potent gust. Ah! Yes, it's definitely walnut, and it's definitely wood, motherfucker. Of course, we've got to start with a bit of wood. First things off. Fucking hell, I can barely speak today. I'm sorry, my loves. Okay, next one. Now, I've encountered this cover before, somewhere. I think it might have been the original painting, but look at this fucking thing here. Giant, oversized gorilla, perhaps a white gorilla. But look at the mouth on this thing. Isn't that a curious mouth indeed? I know they do curl their lips up like that, but it does draw the eye, doesn't it? Okay, A Fighting Man of Mars. I'm not sure whereabouts this is in the series. I think it's maybe 5. Maybe 5. This is an English, is it an English library? I think it's, yeah, but it's slightly different. So we've got the tag down there, the little avatar there. So slightly different, I would say, different version, different publication likely in terms of time. My God, I can barely string any words together tonight. Original copyright 1913 by the looks of it. This is a 1971 edition. I didn't look at the other one, did I? I'm definitely out of practice here, my loves. Please bear with me. 1976, so Yeah, similar. We've got a bit of fecal matter, straight off. Bit of fecal matter. In the camera, this is appearing reddish, like it's perhaps blood, but in actuality, it's brown. So I'll have to sniff that later, if you will. What else we got? Yeah, so at the beginning here, we've got Darwin Book Company. 7 there. 7 pence, perhaps? I don't know. Never heard of this one, but then I haven't heard of many things as it pertains to old books. Anyone ever heard of that? Bookseller, I imagine. Bookshop somewhere. No bloody hidden notes or anything, and at the back there it's slightly coming away, which isn't promising. But there we are. Have a look at that cover. Tell me what you think of that monstrous gorilla and its curling lip. I neglected to mention the young ladies there, one of whom has her titty right out. There aren't even any golden caps over the fella. What do you make of that, my loves? Sometimes you can get away with it if you hide it. Ooh. Oh, this one. Oh dear. Right. Okay. We haven't had this one for a while, actually. There's a bit of tobacco scent there, and it's masking what otherwise would have been pure wood. Just had a little puff on old Grandpa's magic pipe. Hopefully that'll help. Look at this fella. Now, I love this cover. Look at this beauty. Number 4 in the series, this one. Thuvia. Is that right? Thuvia, Maid of Mars. Absolutely wonderful. I mean, the composition is wonderful, just giving her full reign there. And these vanquished Martians, I would have thought down there. You can have a closer look in a minute. I've already scanned the devils. You can have a look at them in a minute. But yeah, nice. Her tits are encased in steel, actually, which is quite wonderful. This is in very good condition, and let's see if there's any. Look at that. Look at this. Someone's bound the bloody thing in goat's blood or something. Goat's blood. Okay, 1975 for this one, but it's in wonderful condition. In fact, I don't think this little devil's ever been read by human eyeballs. Got an ink blot there, but otherwise nothing. Oh hell, look at this. In the middle, it's been fucked. No two ways about it. It has been read. Look, the spine has tram lines on the devil. But anyway, cast your eyes over that cover. Interesting. I mean, has anyone read any of the Edgar Rice Burroughs series, the Martian series, or Venus? I've never read any of them, and likely never will. I'm just collecting them just because I love the covers. But there we are. But they were written. I was looking earlier. A lot of them were written during the 1800s, the late 1800s. Wonderful. So, sorry, I'm getting off on this book here. Oh, that's okay, right. It's in the wood variety, wood ballpark, should I say? But it's a church pew, slightly fecal. I've just remembered. I am really losing it. Look, there was a fecal stain there. It's not shit. Don't worry, it's not shit. But I just thought I'd test the waters. Let's have a bit more of this. Fine brew. I'm not doing so many of these book hauls. You might have realised I'm trying not to spend as much on books. So yeah, there may not be many of these this year, but you never know. I may not be able to resist the temptation and just buy a load anyway. It's normally what happens. Okay, Mastermind of Mars. This is number 6 in the series. And we've got this giant egg-headed fucker right there. Reminds me of the book Odd John, if anyone's ever read that. Super intelligent chap with an enlarged head, if I remember rightly. It might have just been the cover that it had for that story. I'm sorry, I'm rambling like an absolute lunatic tonight. We have a young lady there, unclothed partially. She's got quite big golden cups over her nipple area. Very large, in fact. One would imagine she has quite prodigious areola. But there we are. Those things need to be covered on books, usually. Okay, nothing going on there. No hidden surprises, unfortunately. 1973. So these are all within the mid to early 70s, the ones I've got here. Check out that cover. And what do you think of that? Okay, we got a little bit more tobacco on that one. Might have been from the same seller, I don't know. Rank. Okay, so the final Martian book here. I know the thumbnail suggested we were going to have a Martian bonanza, but that's not quite true, is it? This is a Robert Heinlein book, Podkayne of Mars. Now, I bought this unwittingly thinking it was another one of the Edgar Rice Burroughs ones, but I was duped. And also New English Library Edition. Now, what do you think of this young girl? It's quite an arresting image, but it's not wonderfully painted, I would say. It's slightly crude, I think, in terms of the rendering of the body, I would say. Again, we have a contrivance on the breastplate there to partially cover the nipples. The nipples are completely covered. The areola are passing by like a partially occluded eclipse. And she's carrying a great big fucking ball. No idea what's going on there, but there we are. This is what happens on Mars. Yeah, it's not a brilliant image, I would say, but at first glance, it's quite arresting. Okay, we've got a divot there. Someone's caved it in there with the tip of something blunt, a blunt instrument, hopefully not a penis. And in the middle here, I've come across one of these before, kind of mail order thingamajig. Pull that fucker out, I imagine, although it will probably destroy the book in so doing. Various stainage all the way through, spattering of some kind of liquid, hopefully not of a bodily nature. Hello there. Okay, so we've got a little stamp here, exchangeable at half price +1 books from Brighton. 20 pence, I imagine that would have been. So maybe back in the 80s that was traded as a second-hand book, although let's have a look at the publication date. 1973 for this one. And someone here has been starring the books that they currently own. So a Robert Heinlein fan here, by the looks of it. The only one they didn't have was Rocket Ship Galileo, but they had everything else there on offer. I wonder where those books are now. Interesting. Okay, cast your eyes over that, and I'm going to sniff on this one. Okay. Oh, hell. That one's quite a rough one. It's, again, pipe tobacco, perhaps. Ancient tobacco lingering in the background, which would otherwise, of course, be wood. I'm probably going to drop a lung tonight. Those two made me feel slightly sick. Okay, Martian ones have been vanquished. Now it's time for all of the books that have been recommended to me or I've been seeking out specifically. And this first one is one that I've been hunting for bloody ages. Time Snake and Superclown by Vincent King. This was kindly given to me by Robin of Bookspin. I'll put the links down below to all these people that have helped me out here. But dear Robin saw this book, got it for £5, sent it down to me. Can you believe that, my loves? I returned the favour by giving him a... what did I give him? Robert Silverberg, A Time of Changes, something like that. I'd never read it, but that's one of the ones he was looking for. So we did a book swap. He's up in Birmingham. I'm down here in Devon. These things are possible in modern times. But there we are. Wonderful edition here. I think perhaps slight light damage down here. Perhaps. I'm not sure if that's part of the design. But I've been looking for this book for a very long time. Vincent King he was a British author. He only published 4 novels in his lifetime. And I've now got all 4 of them. I recently read his penultimate novel, Another End. I'm going to be reviewing that at some point. This one, by all accounts, this was the last one he published, is completely bonkers. It's supposed to be very, very strange indeed. So I'm looking forward to reading that. But let's have a look at the blurb and see what we're dealing with here. This important new novel by the talented author of Candyman, Vincent King, now makes its first appearance in Britain. It explores through the eyes of a mysterious central figure the concept of who or what is the alien among us and how do we know we all see the same thing. As the watcher moves through a series of times and worlds of his own, omnipotent, invulnerable, guarding the zone against the alien, he tries to understand why the reefs, the fragile humans, feel no threat from the universe. And the answer, when he finally learns it, is one which is both tragic and hopeful for the destiny of mankind. Excuse me. My goodness. But it's a lovely cover. You can have a look at it in more detail in a moment. I'm tempted to say Foss, of course. I'm tempted to say Foss. It's Fossian. It doesn't say there. 60 pence in the UK. This must be a mid to late 70s. That's what I'm thinking. Yeah, wonderful. Wonderful condition inside. Robin hasn't secreted anything within the pages, though. No hidden maps from Robin. I wasn't expecting any. 1976, first print. Okay, it's the first edition. Fiver. So this is from where Robin picked it up from. It's interesting. First print. Let's have a look here. 1976, yes. So Candyman and Another End were both published in 1972. So 4 years later, he wrote this one, or published this one, and subsequently didn't do anything else. But I think he passed away in 2000, I think. So for whatever reason, he didn't write any more science fiction after 76. Although I think he did some short stories. I'm sorry, I'm rambling, but look at the cover. Tell me if you think that's Foss. And does it say? No, I don't think so. And yeah, I think it's a lovely cover. Anyway, let's get in there. It's all right. I think it's another walnut. Kind of a sweet old wood. Like my penis. That makes sense. Definitely out of practice, my loves. This episode's going to be like half an hour, more than half an hour, could be an hour. Anyway, this one here, David Gemmell, Dark Moon. Now, this was recommended to me by Orion Media Vault. I'm sorry, I don't know your name, but you were asking if I'd read any David Gemmell. I haven't for years, but I asked you for a standalone fantasy novel that I might be able to get into, and you suggested Dark Moon. So I'm going to try and read this sometime this year. I can't promise when that'll be, but it will be this year. I really like the cover. I wish this central image was much bigger, and the name, they always put the name writ large on these books, don't they? Fuck off the big name. Get this image as big as you can, because it's a beauty. Look at that wonderful female warrior there. She's ready to slice off someone's head, but she's had time to put on some lipstick, which is admirable on the battlefield. This has been read and loved, I would say. It's been bent over backwards and given a damn good thrashing. Okay, right. I'll try and read this quickly. It's quite a formidable blurb, this one. The peaceful Eldarin were the last of three ancient races. The mythical Altar, healers and poets had fallen before the dread power of the cruel and sadistic Daroff. Yet in one awesome night the invincible Daroff had vanished from the face of the earth. Good riddance, you bastard! Gone were their cities, their armies, their terror. The great northern desert was their only legacy. Not a trace remained. For 1,000 years. The War of the Pearl had raged for 7 years, and the armies of the 4 duchies were exhausted and weary. But the foremost of the dukes, Cyrano of Romark, possessed the Eldarin Pearl and was determined to unravel its secrets. Then, on one unforgettable day, a dark moon rose, drink, above the great northern desert, and a black tidal wave swept across the land. In moments the desert had vanished beneath lush fields and forests, and a great city could be seen glittering in the morning sunlight. From this city re-emerged the terrifying Daroff, powerful and immortal, immune to spear and sword. They had only one desire, to rid the world of mankind forever. That bastard Daroff is back. Now the fate of the human race rests on the talents of 3 heroes, Caris, warrior woman and strategist, Tarantio, the deadliest swordsman of the age, and Duvadas, the healer, who will learn a terrible truth. Terrible truth being, he can't heal anyone. Okay, so yes, interesting. I will be getting into that at some point. Okay, no. Right, there's a couple of problems here. There's no bloody map for one. No map and no Daubings or anything, but that's okay. He's hardly written anything, has he, that Gemmell chap? Look at all that. The only thing I've read of his is Legend, or Legend. I wasn't that keen on it. I don't think Orion Media Vault will be amused at me saying that, but I didn't really like it. But that was a long time ago when I read that. This is from 1997, but copyright of 1988, perhaps. Anyway, have a look at that warrior woman and that quite handsome knight in front of her. Anyway. Ooh. Oh, I don't know about this one. I haven't had this one before. Cheese.
Cheese?
It's like a bit of mouldy old cheese, that one.
Cheese?
Okie dokie, my loves, let's crack on. Okay, the next one. The Quiet Earth by Craig Harrison. Now, this was recommended to me by Billy of the... I'm sorry, I keep forgetting your channel's name. The Retro Vault. Link down below. Plays lots of old retro games, mostly RPGs. An absolute riot. Please head over there if you're into that kind of thing. But he was replying to... I did this kind of audio play thing. It's on my channel if you want to look at it. But it's about a man that finds himself in an endless corridor. And Billy said it reminded him of this, where the Quiet Earth. So a man wakes up and everyone on Earth has disappeared. Right, I'm just going to read this because this could be interesting here. I was sitting bolt upright in bed, breathing fast and staring at the wall. The daylight was streaming into the motel room through the slats of the blinds. I seemed to have been awake and asleep for ages. John Hobson, a geneticist, wakes up one morning to find his watch stopped at 6:12. The streets are deserted, there are no signs of life or death anywhere, and every clock he finds has stopped at 6:12. Is Hobson the last person left on the planet? Inventive and suspenseful, The Quiet Earth is a confronting journey into the future and a dark past. Sounds very intriguing. Now, the only place I could get this from was Australia. So this is a brand new copy. Let's have a look at the copyright here. Okay, so 2013, but this has been in storage. It's brand spanking new. Look at that. The spine is completely immaculate. The interior is likewise. The cover itself, nothing to write home about really, as it shows a clock with the time on. But there we are. I'm going to give that a go at some point. Have a look if you wish. of the cover. Oh, that's quite nice. Oh, that's lovely. That's now that doesn't smell like wood at all. That's like a tin of emulsion. You know, and you take the lid off and you give it a stir, and you get that smell that wafts up into your face, and may or may not give you cancer sometime in the future. It smells like that. Okay, right. Next, my loves, is a rather more recent book. So it's The Institute by Stephen King. I haven't read any of his more recent stuff, but my brother Mark the Blade, as many of you know, he recommended this one. He read it back along and said he really enjoyed it. So I'm going to have a damn good crack at this. This actually looks new. This one hasn't been read. Look at that. Wonderful. It's quite a lovely design, I think. Juxtaposition of this kind of cartoonish monochromatic detail here, and then the variation of blues that permeate the whole thing. We've also got a bit of a shiny glossy relief there, but this shade of blue always reminds me of sun damaged book spine, so I'm kind of put off by that particular shade of blue, but there we are, my loves. Beggars can't be choosers. The interior is wonderful. Got a little design there, look at that. I wonder if each chapter has that at the beginning of it. I do like little details like that. Yes, that's a motif that runs throughout the book. A night knocker. There's a joke there somewhere. Sorry, I've got something in my nose that's causing me some vexation. 2020, this one. So only 5 years old. I mean, this is pretty much, this is as new as it gets on this channel, my loves. Okay, have a look at that cover. And I'm going to smell this new one. And I'll be darned. Absolutely nothing at all. It's like a Japanese fan wafting in my face and just moving the air around. No fragrance whatsoever. Quite disappointing. Okay, my loves. Right, last but not least, we've got Who Goes There by John W. Campbell, the novella that inspired The Thing, John Carpenter's The Thing. I had no idea that film had actually been based on a book, or the fact that it was by John W. Campbell, who I've never read before. Now, this was featured on a video by Jack over at Sci-Fi Finds. Please go and check him out. He's a nice young chap that knows his onions, knows more onions than I do, and knows how they taste. Sorry, I'm going off tangent here, but yeah, he's a nice chap. Anyway, yeah, the colour of this, it puts me off. It looks sun damaged. It's not, my loves. It's not. But it's kind of referencing The Thing here, I suppose. Yeah, with the ice and whatnot. But there we are. Let's read the blurb. A group of scientists, an object buried under the ice, a terrifying fight for survival. When a group of scientific researchers isolated in Antarctica stumble across an alien spaceship buried in the ice, it seems like an incredible journey. As they transport the alien corpse back to camp, several scientists begin to experience vivid and unsettling dreams. Their fears are dismissed, but their nightmare is only beginning. This terrifying novella, included here with other short stories by Campbell, has been the subject of 3 Hollywood film adaptations, including John Carpenter's The Thing. So this is actually a collection of short stories. Right, that's what I originally thought it was, actually. Okay. So Who Goes There could be the one that was turned into The Thing. But of course, they're going to be trying to sell this off the success of that film, aren't they? That makes sense. Okay, my loves. Look at the cover. It's nothing special, really. And I'll sniff it. Wait a minute. When was this? Oh, crikey. 19. I don't understand. There's no date here. But there we are. It's very new. I mean, this is brand new by the looks of it. Yeah. Anyway, I think I probably bought it new, but it was online. Um. Oh. Cellulose. Cellulose. Yeah. Leaf matter. That kind of thing. So there we are, my loves. Right, that was pretty shambolic today. I'm sorry. I'm not in the flow that I'm usually in doing these things. I think it's because I've got the week off. I'm all out of kilter, to be honest with you. I've done a bit of a spot of drawing here and there, but I've been neglecting the video side of things. So I'm going to dedicate the next couple of days to that. So I'm just easing myself back into the mix. But anyway, my loves, let's leave it there. Thank you very much for watching. If you've read any of those books and you'd like me to crack on with them in one of them in particular, for God's sake, I can't talk tonight, do let me know. And are those Edgar Rice Burroughs books worth reading? I imagine they are. Quite delicious romps through an imaginary Martian landscape, I imagine. Incidentally, I suppose, was he a contemporary of H.G. Wells back in the day? I mean, I suppose then there was still the possibility that Mars was still habitable, perhaps. I don't know. I wouldn't have minded living in that time, really. That idea that Mars and Venus could perhaps or potentially hide another civilization, perhaps. Wouldn't that be wonderful? We know too much now these days. We know that the rest of the solar system is completely sterile. Perhaps, although they'll probably find microbial life on Europa or perhaps even Mars. But anyway, I'm going off on a tangent. Cheers for watching, and I'll see you soon. Cheerio.